Welcome to episode 140 of the Inside Byte. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, I'm doing great. A lot of things to look forward to coming up here soon. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I feel like every year that we start a new, year of games, it's always like, okay, January, one or two games. I feel like by the time we get to March, it's like, okay, now we're starting to get a lot thrown at us, So
yeah,
definitely exciting. I guess this time around kind of kicked off at the end of February with Final Fantasy. It was like the first big, huge one that I can think of. Also,
yeah. In my opinion, once 2023 started, it has yet to stop a single month. So
yeah, that's true. Usually when I get to March in the school year, I'm like, okay, now we're in this, last 3 month home stretch. So it gets super busy, but it just flies by. I feel like it's just going so fast. Next thing you know, it's gonna be the summertime, and I planned a few trips for the summer, so I'm pumped about that. So yeah, man, a lot of cool stuff going on. Today I had to leave work early just because I had something that popped up unexpectedly, and it was so nice because after I finished what I had to do, I had a good 3 hours or so before I had to do anything. So laid on the couch, got some Final Fantasy time in. So nice. I'm so glad that I got to the point. It's crazy that this didn't happen right away because I love Final Fantasy 7, but this always happens to me, even with big releases. Sometimes I'll play a few times. I'm like, okay, I like this, but it's not like grabbing. Now I'm like thinking about it at work. Like I'm thinking about it all day. I can't wait to play again.
Sick.
So pretty fantastic game so far. I think it's definitely going to be a game of the year contender. Sometimes when I feel like when people look at Final Fantasy 7 remake or rebirth, they probably think, if they haven't played it, or played the original, they probably think like, well, the only reason people are going to put this in the running for game of the year is because they love Final Fantasy 7 so much. But it genuinely is a great game, even without that. Like, it's just a really well-made game. They make doing pointless, stupid things so fun. Like, I love, it's like Zelda. Yep. I love just exploring the world, doing all these little things. I don't know. It's so much fun. So
yeah, weirdly enough, the critical reception has pretty much been universally great. So
I saw that.
I'm not really seeing anyone really have any issues with this game, or it's looking great. So I'm like, okay, it's not just me. Seems everyone's really digging it. So
yeah, pretty happy to see
I forget.
that, so.
Well, while we're on it, what is the Metacritic?
I'm gonna guess it's like a high 80s or something. I would guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 90, but let's see.
Okay.
Oh my, wow, much higher. So not 93, 93.
Dang, wow.
So yeah.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great.
So they just added this. Remember, we've been trying to do the family share for a little while, but it's like they just changed the ability that made it to where, now I actually want to use it. So before, if you were playing a game, I couldn't play any other game in your library. It's
while I'm playing.
Yeah. But now it's reduced down to just the game itself. So now I can play any other game in your library, the same with you to me. And so
that's really cool, actually.
While I'm playing a game, you can jump in and play just a different game in my library and not be stuck to only one person playing at a time. So
that's dope. So okay,
big shift. So I'm going to be using it now with different games of yours. So
like Dragon's Dogma, for example, I buy it, I play it. I'm pretty busy this weekend. I can't play it. You can play all weekend. No problem.
I mean, as long as you could play any other game, it just can't be two people playing the same game. So I'm pretty.
That's a good change.
It's saying even offline. We'll get into it. So you can go into offline mode and still access someone else's game in your library. I'm like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's get into this. So, Valve introduces a new Steam Family game sharing program. Valve has announced Steam Families, a revamped program that allows players to create a group to share and play games with close family members. The program launched today in the Steam Beta client and reduces the Steam Family sharing and Steam Family View features. Steam Families can now have up to 6 members, and joining gives you access to any shareable games in each member's library. Shareable games is an important distinction, as family sharing is a feature that any developer can choose to opt out of for any reason at any time. Some games are also ineligible for sharing due to technical reasons. So, very carefully worded, they can opt out. So by default, it would be on, and they can choose to be like, hey, I want to not have this on my game, right? So that's good to see. It would suck if it was the reverse of that and people had to like
Yeah.
opt into the service, because then you'd have
Yeah,
far
I agree.
less. So that's cool. Anyway, while playing a game that a family member owns, you will create your own save files, earn your own achievements, and have access to workshop files, among other features. When you purchase a game, it will still remain in your ownership and only appears in your own library. Two members cannot play one copy of a game at the same time. For example, if two members want to hop
That's
on
fair.
play co-op using member one's copy of Helldivers 2, member two will either have to buy their own copy or play another copy owned by a different developer in the family. Steam
Gotcha.
has released an FAQ that answers some burning questions about Steam families, including parental controls and how to manage child purchases. We recommend feeding the full blog posts, but here are some of the biggest takeaways. Members can leave a Steam family at any time. However, that person will have to wait 1 year before joining a new family. So you can't just be bouncing around. So this is, I think, a really great way to limit people just trying to share libraries on the internet, and then people just jumping in and out so they can access whatever game. If you leave, you're stuck waiting a whole year before you can join another one. So you can't really take advantage of the system here. So that's cool.
That's good. I think it's totally fair. And man, that's so nice for people who, just really want to just share buying games. I mean, that could make perfect sense for either of us or any of us in this situation, so.
Yep. It gets into children bit, which in my case is actually going to start becoming a thing, because my kid being able to like access the library makes me be like, well, I guess it's about time I make them a Steam account and then just add them onto the family that way. So that'd be neat. Anyway, so children in a Steam family account cannot leave their own and must be removed by an adult in the family. Shared family games can be played offline. Playing a member's game also provides access to any shareable DLC they own. So you get the DLC as well. That's good to know.
That's dope.
You can change which Steam family member's copy of the game you play, though if one has different DLC than the other, your save may not work. Let's see. If a family member gets banned or cheated while playing your copy of a game, you will also be banned in that game.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even play online multiplayer games, so it doesn't really apply to me much, but either way, I could see this being like a big detour of like, let's say kids in college, online gaming all the time, and definitely not wanting to share accounts because of that. To create a Steam family, you'll need to opt into the Steam Family Beta. Click on the Steam in your upper left, then choose the Settings menu, select Interface. Then under Client Beta Participation, select Steam Family Beta from the drop-down menu. You'll have to restart Steam to complete the process. But let's do this. I think it'd be great for you to just have anything of mine and me anything of yours. Might as well. You can have 6 people, so that's a pretty big number, I feel.
Oh, that... I didn't realize we could have... I must have missed that. Okay, wait. So do we have to do anything differently? Because we already did the original. Do we have to update this or something?
Yeah, we got to go into that settings bit again. Just because it's like a new thing, new program, technically.
So we can add a few more people to our group?
Yeah. We should.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to...
We definitely should.
Should
get Dave in here. He's got a million games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who else, but 6 people is pretty good. I remember doing this with PlayStation 3, where you would have 5 people that you can share your game library with. And Xbox had it where you could only add one other person, because you could do like the whole home system and then away system, and you can just sort of like have it where 2 people share the library. But Steam having That's 6, awesome. And it looks like they have a lot like better features worked around people actually like achievements and DLC and working from the profiles really well. So this is cool.
That was awesome, man. Yeah, really cool.
Yep.
All right, so we got to definitely do that then, and we'll find some more people to join in. All right. Next up, coming to Xbox Game Pass this month, Lightyear Frontier, game preview, cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S, MLB The Show 24, cloud and console today. The Quarry, good game, cloud and console March 20th. Evo West, cloud console and PC, March 21st. Terra Invicta, PC, March 26th. Diablo 4, console and PC, that's a big one, March 28th. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, cloud console and PC, March 28th. Open Roads, cloud console and PC, March 28th. And Ark Survival Ascended, cloud PC, Xbox Series X and S, April 1st. And Super Hot Mind Control Delete, cloud console and PC, April 2nd. Do you happen to know if this Super Hot is anything different, or is this like a definitive edition or something?
It's like the second one, basically. It is different.
Okay.
Yeah. I've played a bit of it, and just so if anyone's curious, like if you play through Game Pass on PC and you have a VR headset, let's say, what game was that? The one that released originally, like on PlayStation, the space one. Why am I blanking? No Man's Sky. Oh my gosh. Like if you play No Man's Sky through Game Pass and you put a VR headset, it will know to switch over. So like you're not locked out of VR if you use the Game Pass. I don't know if anyone needed to hear that or not, or always wondered, but I figured that out. And there was a few games I tested that on, like Star Wars, same thing. So I was like, okay, cool, good to know. But so Super Hot you could play in VR through the Game Pass is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I never played The Quarry, so I guess I'm playing that, which is why I was posting this, as well as Evil West, just because I've always been curious about that game. It looks like a solid, like, 7 kind of game that I've always wanted to play, but I'll pick up through that, too. I also wanted to play Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and then Open Roads, you should look up. It's like the next big... you have Life is Strange. Then you have these horror games like The Quarry, whatever. The dev's blanking on me. And then you had that game that we liked, where with the phones.
Oh, As Dusk Falls.
Yeah, this seems like the next like jump.
Okay, looks like the art style very interesting.
So it's like realistic environments, but then the people are like looking like they're pulled out of like a comic book or an anime or something. It's a little unique there, but the trailer seemed really good. But it's releasing PlayStation, PC, Xbox, but it's hitting Game Pass, and I was like, well, I'm always in the mood for one of these if it ends up being good. And so I'm going to see the reviews first before I just jump in. But as long as they get pretty solid, I want to play this. So
it looks cool. I really like the aesthetic of it. So
yeah,
I'd probably be into something like this.
And I was just looking at recently added on Game Pass, and I saw No More Heroes 3, so I just had to shout that out.
Oh, there you go.
I'm obsessed. I've played and beat it like 3 different times, but
I know
just for the
game.
audience, like, hey, if you have Game Pass, now's your chance. Try it out. It's super weird. I love it, though. Anyway.
All right. Next up.
Have you heard about this game?
I have heard about it, and I looked it up, and then I saw a card thing, and I could be totally off with this, but I just like instantly was like,
it's like playing cards, like poker kind of style. Not like
right.
Not like cards like Yu-Gi-Oh or something.
Right.
But yes, I actually am a card guy in terms of playing cards, like playing like spades and hearts and whatever. So I've always wanted to play this. So I saw a mobile version coming on the way, and I was like, hell yeah. I'm gonna definitely jump on that, and just I'm looking for a good like game to play on your phone that sort of like isn't trying to be, I don't know, a hardcore video game, but something a bit like more addicting and just interesting and cool. So I've been hearing awesome things about this game. I was gonna jump in and probably play it on my Steam Deck. I guess that's how it picked up a lot of traction. You know, like Vampire Survivor was like the first big Steam Deck success. But basically the same thing's happening here with How do you say this? Balatro?
Balatro? I really have no idea, honestly.
Balatro. Anyway, it hit 1 million sold. It's coming to phones, and I've been really interested in this, and I am wanting to pick it up. So Balatro, the hit poker-inspired roguelike deck builder, has hit 1 million sales within its first month of release. Publisher PlayStack also revealed a mobile version is in development. If you look at the Steam reviews, that's what you should do. And just read through a lot of them. It's some of the best Steam reviews you'll find. They're really just funny, and everyone seems to super love it. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm not opposed to, especially if it's a mobile version. Yeah, I'll probably end up checking it out at some point. So,
yeah.
You know that, I know this is totally off topic, but that reminds me of, I never played the second Oxenfree game, which you can play on your phone because you can get it from Netflix, right?
Yeah, I like the first one. So many people were saying it's kind of whatever, and it just
gotcha. I might just download it from Netflix
me to play, but maybe I should.
I mean, yeah, what can you lose? It'll be a perfect game on my phone here and there.
Have you downloaded a game through the Netflix thing yet? I have not. I don't even know how that works.
I have done it, but I haven't actually played them. I always have downloaded them thinking I was going to play them, and then I never end up playing them.
So do you go through the Netflix app on your phone? Is that what it is? And then there's a game section or something?
Yeah, so I can just show you right here. It's actually very intuitive. It's like, hold on. Come on, camera. Right there. Right under videos, there's the game section. I know it's hard to see, but the game section is all right here. Okay. And then once you click it, it just brings me to, let me see, my list. Immortality is right here because I had saved that.
Oh, cool.
There's a bunch of recent release stuff. But looking, I'm trying to see, are there big games on here? GTA Definitive Edition? That's kind of cool.
Again, I mean, I've said it many times, but play that Immortality. That would be really cool on the phone of all things, cool on the phone, because right? You're actually going through interface of different clips. That'd actually be pretty perfect.
Okay, so I see Oxenfree, but I don't see Oxenfree 2. Where is that? Oh, found it. Okay. Yeah, it just says get game.
I'm gonna do the same then. I don't even have Netflix on my phone because I'm why would I watch Netflix on my phone? But I mean, I used to way back in 2010, but.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me see before we move on. Let's just see what even the Metacritic is. Let's see. Oxenfree 2 Metacritic. Let's see. It looks like it is a 73. Okay, pretty decent. All right. Well, I'll check it out.
I mean,
if I don't
73.
Like it,
it's not bad. What it is. I'll try it for 73. Yeah.
I don't particularly think it's that long of a game either. It says it's about 6 hours. Okay, it's not that crazy.
Okay.
So, yep.
I'm going to keep describing this Balatro game because if anyone doesn't know about it, I actually think it's pretty interesting here. So, it was created by a solo developer, Local Thunk. Balatro is a roguelike tasking players to play poker hands to fulfill store criteria and advance a series of rounds. Along the way, they'll spend money to augment their deck with new cards with special effects while collecting powerful jokers that bestow a wide range of passive and trigger abilities. The game has earned widespread acclaim and popularity since its launch on February 20th. I awarded it a 9 out of 5 out of 10 when I'm writing my review, and I'm pulling this from over at Game Informer. And they gave it a 9.5, saying, Balatro is an ingenious and entertaining roguelike and one of my favorite games of the year. Playing it has become a near obsession. Everything feels perfectly designed to encourage you to keep trying because that next run could be the run of your life. Even after hours of play, I still can't overcome Balatro's biggest challenge, putting it down. And a press release announced the 1 million milestone. Local Thunk writes, I'm so grateful to all the players and people that have made this happen. I still can't grasp the response to this game, and I'm overjoyed that so many people have been able to have fun with my silly creation. I'm so fortunate that I can continue working on my passion as a career. Thank you. Balatro is currently available for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. There's no release window for the impending mobile version just yet.
Okay. Very cool. Oh, well, listen, now with our new settings, if you get it, maybe I'll check it out. Try it out on the Steam Deck.
Yep. Okay.
All right. By the way, I just downloaded Oxenfree 2, so I'll let you know how it all runs, how it all works. Developer Wishfully and publisher Thunderful have revealed Planet of Lana is coming to PlayStation and Switch April 16th.
That came out on Xbox came out on Xbox and PC last year, and it got like big critical reception. A lot of people really liked it, so now they're releasing on PlayStation and Switch.
I'm gonna have to play that one eventually. I did want to check it out. Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves gets early 2025 release window and new gameplay trailer, which I have not seen this yet.
So this is basically the new. There's a famous Neo Geo fighter. The name's blanking on me because it's not City of Wolves. It's
Mark of the Wolves, 1999. Wow, long time ago. Okay.
But it was gigantic release at the time. Everyone was like losing the crap over. I remember it being a gigantic thing in the arcades at the time. But anyway.
Okay, very cool.
A new one coming out in 2025. So a lot of people are excited about this because they haven't released a new one since,
26 years later. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And then next up, Embracer reportedly set to sell Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. Dev, Saber Interactive, and $500 million deal. Last month, we learned that Embracer Group, the company behind the closure of Saints Row Studio, Volition Games, and layoffs at companies like Black Forest Games and Eidos Montreal, was reportedly set to sell Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake developer Saber Interactive. The deal apparently carried with it a $500 million price tag, according to a Bloomberg report. Now it's official. Embracer has sold off Saber Interactive to a group of private investors under Beacon Interactive, as reported by Video Games Chronicle. Beacon Interactive is controlled by Saber Interactive co-founder Matthew Karch, the publication reports. Embracer sold Saber Interactive to Beacon Interactive for $247 million. There was an option for the former to bring Metro Series developer 4A Games and Pinball FX developer Zen Studios with it as well, increasing the price tag to around $500 million. According to Bloomberg report, Jason Schreier, Karch, and Saber Interactive have decided to enact that option, bringing 4A Games and Pinball FX out of Embracer and with it to Beacon Interactive. Today, through a company we formed called Beacon Interactive, we have agreed to buy back the rights to Saber and all of its worldwide studios and exclusive contractor relationships. Madhead, DIGIC, don't know what that is, Nimble Giant, Fractured Byte, Spligate, 3D Realms, New World Interactive, SPL, Stuntworks, ByteX, 4A, and Zen through options totaling over 3,000 developers across the world. Karch writes in a letter to Saber Interactive, "We have decided precisely on these studios for acquisition because we believe they represent the best of what Saber is and can be." So has this whole thing with Embracer and all this, like, what?
So yes, Embracer buys a ton of development studios, the whole shebang, and with warm embrace, clearly not a part of the agenda here because they're now selling ones left and right. So they're selling, like, it looks to be less than what they bought for.
I would assume so,
but I'm not even entirely sure. Regardless, though, why do you buy a bunch and then just get rid of a bunch?
Start selling them off.
Clearly, somebody was, I don't know, the idea shifted somewhere, right? I mean, somebody else took charge, somebody else's ideas took precedence, whatever the case is, and it's just started selling a ton. But anyway, so Saber is now back to being under somebody different.
Okay.
There you go. I don't even know if it's necessarily a better thing or a worse thing because we don't know anything about this Beacon either. But
never heard of them.
They still announced in all of this that, hey, apparently the remake is still going to be a thing, though, which
I hope so.
I don't believe it. And if it's true, at best you're talking 4 or 5 years from now, which I don't care. That's too far from now. I'm not.
I know.
Let me know later. Anyway, so that's what I think about all that. But okay,
it's gonna make me play the original before. I was trying to wait for this because I never played the original, but now it's like,
yeah.
Guess I might as well just play the original.
I mean, the original is like they pretty much did Coder 1, Coder 2, and then the first Mass Effect, and you can totally tell like the bones of Mass Effect in Coder. So if you like Mass Effect 1. They shifted it even more in 2, but if you like Mass Effect 1's gameplay, it's pretty close to Coder's gameplay. So that gives you a good idea. You have like the hotbar at the bottom, and you're just switching between skills with that. Coder does the same thing.
Yeah, I've always heard good things, so I'd like to eventually check it out.
I guess Steam Deck would be the greatest place to play.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
Yeah. Okay. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is off to a rough start on PC following the launch. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which is an HD port combo of the original Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2 on modern consoles and PC. Developer Aspire Media says it's working to address and increase network stability. Shortly after the game's launch on March 14th, players across all platforms, but especially PC, been experiencing server issues, preventing them from getting into matches, as well as other connectivity issues like disconnects, rubber banding, and more once actually in a match. The result was a wave of disappointment from players excited to play these classic multiplayer games. Now, a day later, Aspire's acknowledged the issues is working on fixing them. So this was written the 15th. It's the 19th of recording. I haven't seen anything saying that it's fixed yet.
Gotcha.
Aspire Media, Star Wars Battlefront Collection, they wanted to say, we'd like to thank the Battlefront community for their overwhelming support and feedback for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection release. An update reads as follows. At launch, we experienced critical errors with our networking infrastructure. The result was incredibly high ping, matchmaking errors, crashes, and servers not appearing in the browser. Since launch, we've been working to address these issues and will increase network stability, and we will continue our efforts into our network infrastructure is stabilized to further out more outages. Aspire encourages players to report bugs, errors, and unexpected behaviors to its support team via a request form.
Okay, there we go. All right. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection is getting delisted in Japan this month. That's according to a notice of end of sales post on the game's Steam page from Friday, March 29th to 2024. Onward, the game will no longer be available for purchase in Japan on the storefront. However, online play will remain available after the game's delisting, and purchase copy of the collection will remain available for re-download from the Steam store. Released less than 2 years ago on August 30th, 2022, on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC, the Cowabunga collection getting delisted so soon comes as a shock. It's seemingly only affecting TMNT players in Japan. Game Informer reached out to the publisher Konami to ask if there are plans to delist the game outside of Japan, was told it will not be removed from any other stores outside of Japan. So this includes the following games. TMNT Arcade, TMNT Turtles in Time Arcade, TMNT NES, TMNT 2, the Arcade, Jesus, there's a lot of games. TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, TMNT Tournament Fighters, 4, Turtles in Time, Tournament Fighters, the Hyperstone Heist, Tournament Fighters, Fall of the Foot Clan, Back from the Sewers, Radical Rescue, over a variety of different systems. That's kind of wild.
Basically, wow. Game Boy, Sega, Genesis, SNES, NES, Arcade.
Wonder why Japan is getting screwed on this.
Yeah, so I more brought this up and put this in here because it makes me feel the same could happen stateside. Mm-hmm. So if you were slightly interested in it, go ahead and buy it soon before you don't have a chance to. So
yeah, that's really because we all know, no matter what they say, you know, up until the last minute, they'll say that, even if they're eventually going to.
So it might be more than just Japan being affected. They may only be officially saying that right now. So.
Right. Who knows?
Okay. Prince of Persia Lost Crown has like this post-launch roadmap that they released.
Okay.
So in March this month, you'll get for free a speedrun mode, a permadeath mode, and some new outfits. Also free coming spring of 2024 is a boss rush and another new outfit. Probably you get by being the boss rush, I'm assuming. Also for free in the summer is going to be these Divine Trials. So they're new combat and puzzle challenges and new amulets and outfits and more items. And then they are releasing a new story DLC that's going to be paid later in 2024. So there's still stuff coming from that game, and I do really like it. I don't want to play it right now because, again, I'm way into Rebirth, but I do want to play this. I do. Of what I played, I loved. So
I definitely have my eye on that game. It seems like the perfect game for me personally and for a Steam Deck. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be all over that one when I get a chance. Probably after Rebirth, like you said. So all right. Next up, System Shock Remake is finally coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on May 21st, just shy of the game's 1-year anniversary. Pretty cool. I've always wanted to play it. I just don't have time to get to it right now. But I would like to check it out eventually.
Do the next.
Okay. Akuma terrorizes Street Fighter 6 this spring. That's cool. Akuma joins previous Year 1 characters of Rashid, AKI, and Ed, and Capcom plans to detail Year 2 content later this year. Listen, I need M. Bison back. That will pull me back into that game, okay? That's my guy. So, that's what I'm waiting for.
Fighting games, though. Tekken 8. Again, I don't want to get it right now because I am busy with Rebirth. But I will say, Tekken 8, every day, I'm just like, man, it looks really tempting. I love the demo. I keep thinking back on it. I go back and play that demo, and I'm just, man, this is so good. They have so ridiculously cool features of, okay, you could be fighting somebody online and go and like replay the battle, right? But at any point during the battle, you can just like pause it at that exact frame and then hit play, and you'll basically be able to like replay the last 15 seconds and then just go forward with the fight and then try something different, you know? And then the other character will basically just do the same thing they did whenever they're originally fighting you. And then that way you could sort of like learn how to counteract a certain skill that they used or anything like that. And I'm just like, man, that's, I never thought that would even be a thing, or I never even thought to really think of doing that. But that's a really next level way of like replay that I'm just wanted to shout out because I just think that's super cool that Tekken has.
Yeah, a lot of these fighting games are starting to get so. It's almost like they could just put out a fighting game again and it'd be completely fine. But now they're really starting to add all this extra stuff to really make, you know, maybe casual people who want to get into the hardcore part of it a little better, and people who are way into it can do more, you know? Like Street Fighter, for example, with the mode where it teaches you the combos and steps and everything. Like, that's pretty cool, you know? So.
Yep. So, another fighter here, Multiverses. The Warner Brothers free-to-play crossover platform fighter makes its big comeback on May 28th. The game has been rebuilt and returns almost a year after its open beta has taken offline. Player's first game director Tony explains in a developer diary that Multiverses has been made from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5, meaning it sports improved visuals and lighting. It also has a totally revamped netcode to provide what Heion promises will be consistent online performance regardless of platform. Every existing fighter sports new attacks and combat mechanics, and Heion promises that new fighters are on the way. Additionally, new stages were teased with concept art depicting areas based on the Powerpuff Girls, Townsville, and Dexter's Laboratory. First of all, yes, Powerpuff Girls. I would totally play as Powerpuff Girls. That'd be amazing. Actually, Dexter, either one. That'd be. You know what I want? I want the monkey from Dexter's Laboratory. That's who I want.
Oh my God! Yes, please. There's so, or oh my God! It's been so long
Puppet Pals.
Yeah. Those guys, and then the guys who.
I mean, it's more than just the two. It's like a whole crew of them, right? And there's like the
spinoff where they have the
big.
Oh my God!
Like
no,
Thor dude, right?
Like the Hulk guy and the Thor guy. Hold on, I gotta know these guys' names now because. I want to say like superhero. Let's see.
It's like a rip-off Avengers.
Oh, Val Hallen, Major Glory, the Infraggable Crunk. That was one of Oh man, I used to love that show, dude. Can you watch Dexter somewhere these days? Like, is it on something?
HBO Max of all places.
Oh my God!
I want to say it's there. It's there or Paramount.
Because I'm looking right now and I'm just seeing.
No, it's not Paramount. Paramount's Nickelodeon. I want to say Dexter. HBO Max.
Because I'm looking and I'm not. Hold on. I know it used to be on one of them, but I don't know if it still is because I'm not seeing it now. Yeah, I freaking love that show, man.
So Dexter's Laboratory used to be, but something happened with like its owner or something. So right. So there's certain Cartoon Network ones on HBO Max. I want to say, let's see, like Billy. Yeah, Gurma Adventures, Billy Mandy's still on Max. So I want to. I know Courage, the Cowardly Dog's on there. I saw that a few days ago. So that's annoying, though. I wanted to watch Dexter.
That is annoying.
Come on, bro. What about Johnny Bravo?
Johnny Bravo, yeah, check that one out.
I'd watch that. It's not. Oh my god.
No,
No.
dude, I still remember the theme song of Dexter, all the funny episodes. God, I just love that show.
All right.
All right. Anyway, let's see.
Oh, sorry here.
Go ahead.
Lastly, he revealed a brand new mode, PvE mode, is coming to the game. He doesn't go into detail, only teases it will offer additional ways of playing with unique rewards. But I would do a PvE mode. I'm assuming maybe it's like a rush of enemies or something, and you play like co-op. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds interesting for that kind of game, but okay, cool.
But I did like this game. I played it, a few weeks, and then I just kind of got bored of it and fell off. I thought it was good. There just wasn't much there, So the fact that they just took it down and reworked it and added a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to give it another shot here when it comes out in May. And maybe it'll keep my interest for longer.
Sure. Okay. Next up, Final Fantasy 16 PC version and final stages of optimization. Expected demo before release. So first of all, I will say I'm really glad I played Final Fantasy 16, but man, I wish I could have just been still not interested in it for like another year or something, or however long it take for this to come out, because I would have definitely started over on PC. But anyway, while Yoshida is unable to share when the PC version of Final Fantasy 16 will be released, he says the team is in the last stages of optimization. In terms of where we are in development currently, we're trying to figure out the final stages of optimization right now. Yoshida tells me through a translator, when we can release the PC version might be dependent on that, the system requirements, and specifications for PC that players will need. So we're trying to figure that out. Naturally, the PC specifications are looking to be somewhat high. He says players can rest assured, though, that development on PC version of FF16 is going smoothly, but in terms of when it's going to come out, when we can announce it, I'd like to ask for more time on that. Yoshida tells me before Final Fantasy 16 releases on PC that the team will do its best to announce the best specifications and requirements ahead of the time so players can determine if the game will run on their PCs. And to do that, we're looking to release a demo for the PC version as well. That's cool. Again, we can't really talk about too much in terms of detail or when it's going to come out. I think in a little bit more time, we'll be in a better place to announce things. But one thing's for sure, it won't be too distant in the future. It won't be a year. It won't be 2 years. It will probably be shorter than that. So stay tuned. Okay, great.
So what do you think I should do? I mean, I played like 30 hours. I doubt I want to restart. What is it, 60 in total? I feel like I was like halfway. I don't know. What do you think? Like, if I was at the part,
what do you remember like big thing?
I'm trying to not spoil things, but basically, I'm in that. It's almost like a desert themed city.
Okay. Yes, I do remember that.
So that's where I'm at. Maybe an hour past tops. You know what I mean?
Do you know the last? I don't think it's that big of a deal if you say this. Do you know the last like ability that you got, like power?
I have 3 of them.
3 of them. Okay. Yeah, I'd say you're probably over halfway. But again, it depends on how much you're doing.
I doubt I want to restart it. I'm just gonna finish on PlayStation, but it would be neat. Yeah. Like it makes me. I'm kind of in the in between there.
Tim, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. All right, sorry. You were saying?
I was just wondering if I should think about replaying 16, like starting from scratch so I can play it on PC, or do they just continue on console? I'm just going to continue on console.
For me personally, I would say it just depends. If by the time you're ready to start playing Final Fantasy 16 again, they've released a demo and they're like, it's coming out soon, maybe it'd be worth it to start on PC. Otherwise, I think just keep going, because I did the same thing that you're considering doing. I was like 15 hours in. I kind of forgotten a lot. I looked up like some videos about like, okay, what's happened so far, kind of got reacclimated, and then I was fine, and then it was all good. So
if my specs can handle, I'm going to test it out with the demo. And if I can run 120 on my PC,
that'd be great.
Then I might restart, because this is obviously very action focused. So I think that'd be pretty neat to play at like double the frame rate.
Yeah, and I played in performance mode the whole time. It was pretty decent. I was fine with the performance.
It dips a lot. Like
it dips here and there for sure. Yeah. It definitely dips. It did get better from when I first started to the end, I'll say.
I don't want to say it's bad. Let's just say if I'm like critically 1 out of 10, I'd give like a frame rate score. Like a 7. you know,
Right, right.
It
Yep, I
wasn't
think that's
terrible, but it would drop and it'd be a little annoying here and there.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
that's how I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as well in performance mode, just because I can't.
yeah,
It feels I just can't do the normal mode.
Same.
So. Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, I just went to. I got a really dope photo that I need to share. It's like today. I just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've gotten a few like went into photo mode and got like I probably did it like 3-4 times of some cool shots that I do want to share.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
the game is pretty good looking. So
yeah. Okay, Mario Day happened. So
yes.
Again, that's March 10th for anyone wondering, because it spells out Mario if you do Mar and then 10. New Super Mario Bros. Animated movie. Its sequel is announced for 2026. Nothing more was talked about it, but hey, that's, I guess, I don't know, cool to know. I guess a good way to word it. It's like, you would assume so, but you still kind of wonder. Yeah, I'm very curious, like where they really take it though.
Right.
So
where can they take it? Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of possibilities, obviously, but I'm still like, it's hard for me to predict where they would take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door got a release date for May 23rd, so that's pretty soon. And then Luigi's Mansion 2 HD arrives on Nintendo Switch on June 27th. But yeah, I actually never played Thousand Year Door. Now, when I say never played, I've technically started it a handful of times, and I get like a few hours in. And then I just stop. I don't know why. It's not like I wasn't interested in anything. I mean, there's plenty of games that, I've done that too, to where,
of course,
has no bearing on its quality. But I do want to actually give it a for real shot, and I would love to buy this physically on Switch. I think that'd be a good grab to get.
I mean, not again. You probably already know this, but man, I think you'll definitely like the game.
More and more you go, there's so much clever writing in the game and fun sequences, and it's just,
I love Paper Mario 64 and I played and actually loved the Wii one too. The Wii one that's where it starts to detour a little, but I still think it's a super solid title.
It's still a good game.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would say it's that like trilogy of like Paper Mario 64, Thousand Year Door is what I'm assuming is like the climax, and then it kind of dips a little in Super Paper Mario, but they're all three super solid. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thousand Year Door is definitely my favorite one out of the three. I think it's just, man, it's so good. I'm really looking forward to replaying that.
So I think they're releasing at 40. I don't think they're dropping at 60. I think they are releasing at
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I said, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is getting June 27th, so then the whole trilogy will be out on Switch, which that's super cool. I never played the 3DS one, so I am going to pick this up. So it's the only one I
really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I love that they still are giving attention to Luigi and, still caring about these games, because they could totally just ignore it and probably be fine, So.
And then they announced 2 Game Boy Color, 1 original Game Boy games here. So Dr. Mario for the Game Boy is releasing, Mario Golf for Game Boy Color, and Mario Tennis Game Boy Color. Now, Mario Tennis Game Boy Color, one of the all-time greatest. It's like I don't want to put this. It's a sports RPG, and it's probably the first one ever created of this genre, and it's so good. And there's a reason that I don't know, it's so many have tried to replicate what this game does, because it's, I don't know, you would never think of that you could really do that, like do an RPG with a sports game, but it works so great in this. So
gotcha.
I'm really excited to just go back and play this, because it's been ages, but I used to be addicted to this game, dude. When I was like a kid, teenager, I used to play the hell out of this Mario Tennis Game Boy Color. So.
Dude, man, so many great memories with those games. So fun. So, yeah, that's definitely exciting.
Yep. All right, let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing.
All right.
I did play this Princess Peach demo as well.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I just wanted to mention that Invincible Season 2, Part 2 just returned.
I saw it dropped. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm about to.
First episode I thought was awesome. Really, really good stuff. So, Tim, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the first episode I thought was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Again, going, I read the comics, so whenever I watch the show, it's like it's really exciting to see like the changes they make and stuff. And I will say they definitely made some big changes in this episode. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. So now this Princess Peach demo. Let me just preface this before by saying the Nintendo podcast group that we have been a part of forever.
Yeah.
I don't post a lot in these big groups anymore since we started our own group. Like, that's part of the reason why, but also just because I feel like the people in our group, you don't have any like really annoying, unreasonable people in there, right? Everyone kind of posts their thoughts, whatever.
I've fallen out as well. I've only posted, I don't know, twice in like 4 years is what it seems like.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Yeah.
Sometimes these big groups, it just gets annoying. Like, you can't even say anything without like, anyway, let me tell you what happened. So basically I posted in the group. I said something like, hey, I played the Princess Peach demo. Honestly, I found it to be pretty boring. It didn't run well, and it doesn't even look that great. So I'm kind of shocked by this. I was like, but mainly my main issue is that I just found it to be boring. Like, and then when I started talking to people about it, I kept pointing out, like, I've played games that are simple games that maybe appeal to kids, and they're still good. Kirby is a perfect example of this. Kirby is a very basic game, but I had a blast with it because it's just well made. The levels are fun. The mechanics are good. Yoshi's Crafted World, same idea. I mean, I had fun finding all the eggs and all that stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
This game I found to be very, very boring. I mean, it was literally just, okay, you turn into like Sword Master Peach or whatever. Okay, you press B to swing the sword, and you press B again to go behind them, and that's it. You just scroll from left to right, and that's it. I just thought it was so boring, and the people in there were getting so defensive. Did you know it's a good kids game? It's not meant for adults. I'm like, okay. Again, I've played plenty of games that are meant for kids that appeal to adults. Mario, Yoshi, Kirby, for example.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't run poorly for me at all. I had zero problems. That's the one I hate the most, when people say it's like, no, you just don't notice it or you don't care. But it definitely had dips, bad dips. And I wasn't the only one to notice this, right? I was like all over the internet. And finally, people are just, that was the main thing. People kept telling me over and over and over, well, I got it for my kids and they're going to love it. It's not for us. I'm like, oh my God, you guys have to defend. This is the thing. I hate when people crap on Nintendo for no reason, but I also hate when people defend Nintendo blindly. It's like so silly,
Yeah.
This is not one of their better games. I'm sorry. It's not. So
I agree with everything you said outside of one thing.
Yeah.
It is boring. The gameplay is pretty much non-existent. You pretty much like walk. Let's say there's an enemy like you're walking towards, right? You just hit square and it like does a little ribbon thing, and then it gets rid of them, or it like makes a sad person happy again. But it's like walking up, hit square, and then walk, hit square, right? Now, I think this game does have value. I think it actually is really cute. I actually really like the creatures. I think it's really creative on like its atmosphere and the new creatures in this new kingdom, and just like
I can agree with that. Trying
to come up with an original kingdom of characters and them actually nailing it pretty good. I thought it was pretty adorable at that. Now, it's very boring though. Like the gameplay, like I said, it's not really there. I played the Sword Fighter section and I was like, man, this is super, super, super baby stuff. You're talking 3 or 4-year-old could pretty much pick this up. Like actually a pretty average 4-year-old at that, because you really just have to like hold one direction and hit a button randomly, right? And you have plenty of hearts, plenty of ways to. You're definitely not going to be dying here unless it's like your first time holding a controller kind of stuff, right? But did think all that was cool. And then the second section I ended up quite liking, when you're having to like smash the button and get it to the exact right size of the cookie with the crumblings on top, and you have to like nail it exactly just before it goes over to being burnt or being like not with the crumblings on top, because whenever you're hitting it a little bit, it gets bigger and bigger cookie, and then it like mushrooms, and then it like goes into rainbow stuff, and then it goes into sprinkles, and it's trying to time that right. I thought was pretty fun. I really like
maybe I'm being a little hard on it overall. You know, I do
presentation and celebration and all that. I thought it was pretty cute and actually pretty like interesting looking title. Now, I wouldn't buy this. It's very boring. It's very basic. When I play so Kirby's pretty like kid level base. Yoshi's like even younger than that, of like super basic stuff, but there are still fun things to do in Yoshi, of like finding secret collectibles and all that.
Yes.
This game, the secrets are like hard. It's not a secret. The secrets that are there are just so incredibly obvious. It's, I don't know. Adults can get value out of kids' games, but because this is catered so young of an audience, I think it just is impossible to work for us in terms of getting any real value out of this thing outside of just its aesthetics and music and presentation and little like cute mini game stuff or something, right? That's where this game shines, I feel.
I think now that you bring it up, that is a good point. You know, maybe I was being too hard, and overall, I think what made it worse is the reaction I got about like, no, there's nothing wrong with this game. It's totally fine. It's perfectly fine. But I get what you're saying. This could be something I might pick up down the line, you know, maybe for my kids or something if they're interested. But otherwise, I don't even know if my kids would be interested in this, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. But okay, all that aside, obviously we're both playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Man, I think this game is so good. It's so much fun. All the stuff I'm doing right now is all new stuff that was added into the game that really they didn't need to add, but I'm glad they did. I find the whole Chadley gathering data fascinating. I think that's so fun. I think the whole getting the shrines and lowering the health of the summon is such a cool twist. The radio towers, that brings me back to like Zelda and other games.
I want to break down like let's say a tower, or let's say one of those like when you're scanning little intel. So, okay, let's say scanning the intel. Well, it's more than that, right? Like once you scan it, you can then read a synopsis of like maybe a war that took place, maybe an interesting backstory to this area, maybe a specific thing that took place in history with this area, right? You get to read like a cool little thing and try to understand Seven's world more. So, you know, instead of just, I don't know, checking a box and nothing more, right? At least you get some lore as you're going about trying to discover. If you want to go discover lore, you can go discover lore, right? If you want to go to one of the towers, well, there's always going to be an interesting enemy at the bottom of the tower you're going to have to defeat. And then once you get the tower, you know, there's always a little puzzle based around like, okay, to hit the button to release it, plus finding all of the Moogle medals. So I don't know if you realize that that's a thing, but on every tower, there seems to be even more than one of them in the boxes that you can kind of like see. And as you get further into the game, those get more and more obtuse and stuff like that. So there's always more to each one of these little things. And I just wanted to emphasize that before you continued.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like I'm discovering new things about this game all the time. And when I first started, I felt like I was kind of overwhelmed. I know I had played Remake already, but I was a little overwhelmed just remembering all these things you have to keep track of, equipping the abilities, pulling them out here and there, the folio thing, whatever. But now it's starting to feel just fine. Like I feel pretty good about it. And I love, this is such a huge thing that they could have had as an oversight. And I'm so glad they didn't do this. I love that everyone gets experience when you are doing all these extra things to get experience, and it's leveling up all your materia. Because man, that would have been such a bummer if like I have to constantly be switching materia to the characters I want or switching party members. I like that everyone just gets experience. I want Barret, Tifa, and Cloud for a while. Fine, no problem. That was a huge. I think that's a great move that they did there, because it would have been so annoying otherwise. It's so fun for me to level up the materia, see it go up, use the new ability, but at the same time, I feel like you don't have at least where I'm at now, you don't have all this expendable MP that you can always be using all the time. So you have to like pick and choose more when you want to use it,
MP still is quite limited even where I'm at.
Yeah,
so
it is.
That's pretty much a thing, and I think it was the same with Remake. It's definitely something you have to always keep in mind, and you can't just abuse. So it makes it pretty fun and challenging because of that.
Yeah, and the whole idea of like you have to use the cushions occasionally to rest, and some places you can rest for free, but you don't get your health back at the end of every battle. So it kind of makes it a little, sometimes I do get overwhelmed in the middle of battle. I'm like, damn, everyone's dying. I'm losing so much health, whatever, quick. But it keeps you on your toes.
You got to really start learning into abilities more. So like you'll actually get like a weaker fire ability, right? And it's not going to be as strong as fire, but at least it gives you an option to sort of like pressure or stagger an enemy, stuff like that. Hit their weaknesses. So that's cool that that's there. And then the same with like healing, right? That prayer material helps a ton because you don't have to actually waste mana to heal the whole party. So I'm definitely always keeping that at the forefront, like prayer materia. So same with like chakra. So you get hit a ton, like an enemy really messes you up, you can use chakra and restore like a ton of that health back. So that gets really useful. So there's so many like different ways you can rethink all of it,
Is the thing about the prey materia is like it requires two bars. So I always catch myself like, damn, I don't have it yet. What is the next level up for prey materia? Does it just heal more? Or what does it do?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it could just be a straight like percentage is maybe how it works under the hood, but it's never like you're gonna heal less. Let's say it always heals 60% or something like that, right? So even though way later in the game when you have like thousands of HP, you're still gonna heal a huge amount of that across the whole party when you use it. So it's still always useful.
I'm getting to the point now where I'm always constantly buying whatever material I can from the stores or from Chadley or whatever. So I have like almost too much material to even equip on everyone. But I know as we go, I'll have more slots, and I'm just trying to level up, the ones that I like, the healing material, obviously, or the elemental ones.
Like the item making stuff. You want to do that a lot because then you can actually make equipment that has like 4 slots for materia.
Yes.
And then now you have a ton more options for your characters. So
the game just has whoever designed this game, at least this part of it, was so smart about hooking people into the constant sense of progress that you're making in the game, right? Even if I play for an hour one night, okay, I transmutated, 3 things. I got a new squad level up or whatever, or a new. My favorite thing I gotta say is when you get a new weapon, getting the ability and making it permanent, and then going back. Man, I love that. It's so good, man. It's such a great game. And I've barely even touched the story. That's the whole thing. It's like, I'm not even enjoying it for what the main thing that we love the game for yet. It's good so far, but I just haven't done a lot of that yet. But the card game, the battle,
the first big moment is what you're about to do in Junon when you hit the March sequence and what takes place after. It's like the first big beat in the story, I would say.
I can't wait. Oh, how did I forget
Well,
this?
let's say second big beat, because the first would be the Sephiroth memory stuff.
Right.
So, but this would be like the second, I would say. So
I will say that things that stand out to me that are not the main story of the game is the card game. At first, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And now I love it. The open world exploration of all the different things you can do. Love that. And finally, something that I didn't even love that much in the original game, which I like way more now, is the Fort Condor. For some reason, it's grabbing me way more style.
Well, I've always been a Fort Condor defender. I love Fort Condor. So
I didn't have a problem with it in the past. I just didn't get as into it as I did now. Now I'm like 100% into like, this is so much fun.
The last one, so when you're doing the quest line, you must be, right? And you got to go to each
I've done like
person
2 or 3 of them.
That last one, hoo-hoo. I'm telling you, dude, realistically, probably longer than 2 hours. Like, just repeat getting so mad at how many times I replayed. And then I would stop for a minute, so maybe if I like never stopped, maybe it would be an hour and a half, but it was still just a ton of time poured into this Fort Condor last mission.
Yeah.
But whew, just
How many?
I'm curious.
How many
when we
are
get to
there?
that.
Is it 3 or 4 missions? Do you
It's
know?
4. And then
4. Okay.
when you beat them all 4, then you can play hard modes of each one. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
God.
boy.
Nope,
I
I'm
don't even
not
know if I
doing it
wanna do
right
that.
now.
I'm good.
Maybe when I beat the game, I'll go back. But
I found on the second one or third one, whichever one I just did, I found that just spamming the whatever type to get Cloud ready to go was so useful for me, because then I have a bunch of units out, and then when I get overwhelmed, I drop Cloud on them, and then I do the same thing for Barrett, and that seemed to help me a lot. But yeah,
I
it's definitely
always
challenging.
did
It's really fun.
let me press as hard as I can till I get to the very end where I'm at them,
all the way to the
and
end, yeah.
then unload the heroes.
Drop the heroes, yeah.
right at the end. So that's what I always did.
I gotta say, the game has so much extra stuff that you don't even need to do that is so good. It's awesome. So yeah, man, I'm really, really happy with this game. And again, as I've said multiple times, I already love the game, and I'm not even experiencing the things that I'm really excited for, which is a lot of the story stuff that I haven't seen yet and how they portray that. Like, for example, this is not a spoiler at all. It's just something that happens. But when Sephiroth does the whole thing with that creature in the swamp, and it gets
bits like that. Yeah.
You know, I thought that was cool. I was like, wow, it's kind of interesting to see how they did it here as opposed to in the original game. So yeah, man, I think it's an awesome game. I can't believe that we're here playing this game freaking 27 years later after I remember playing that game as a kid and just loving it. Man, it's just so cool that we have these games, you know. So
yep. So
it's pretty awesome.
Where I just stopped playing, which was like today, I just finished the Cosmo Canyon stuff. I think I'm now leaving Cosmo Canyon is what it's looking like, unless some new thing happens here right at the very end. But I already had sort of like the big like moment of the area and all that. And so Cosmo Canyon back in the original game was always my favorite area, just because I always thought it looked really cool, and I was really, really into like Red 13, and I loved the whole moment of like him with like the statue of like basically the cover art. If you look at the back of the game, that shot is always dope from that Cosmo Canyon, the music, whatever. But it's hard for me to remember the actual like story beats that happened during Cosmo Canyon. And then when I watched any of the story summaries, you know, they're usually like 45 minutes to an hour, but they can't go into like every bit because then it would be like 6 hours long, right? So I really haven't seen that original area since I just used to play it a ton, maybe like 10 years ago or back. But it ended up being the climax of the game for me so far. I think what happened there, like, at first I was really worried because I'm like, oh, cool, I'm finally Cosmo Canyon. Like, I love the music, blah, blah, blah. But this is actually pretty, like, kind of basic, and I'm not really into this. And I thought this would be a way bigger wow factor. But then what ends up taking place immediately after me thinking this, it was like the biggest moment in the game so far. It goes, see, that's the thing, is like it goes way outside of the realm of what originally took place in the game, but it's not actually changing anything too drastically. It's just adding more to like a bigger context of what happened. But the moment that I just went through Cosmo Canyon, going basically, let's just say you go deep into under where the city is, but when you go way down in there, some crazy stuff happens, and I was not expecting it, and it definitely, none of it was a thing within the original game, unless my memory's really slipping me here. But you meet this whole race of people basically, and it's this 2 to 3 hour stretch of just like your mind's gonna be blown, and I really don't want to give anything away, but
so let me ask you this, and again, you can be vague with your answer. So far, do you feel that you've seen a lot of, you know, because we are in a different timeline here, do you feel you've seen a lot of new things, or has it been just here and there new things?
Also, I'm questioning if it's actually a different timeline now. I'm getting points in the game to where I'm like, oh crap, this isn't how I was thinking this was playing out. The timeline stuff is really weird right now. I mean, I obviously don't want to go into it and spoil anything.
Right, of course.
But it's not what I originally thought, like, for sure. Something different's happening. It's quite weird. But I have a theory already, and I would love to get into, but I want to at least wait till you get to the part. But you'll notice as you play the game, you'll get like a Zack moment. You know what I mean? So you'll
Gotcha.
get a few of them as you keep playing, but the last Zack moment really had me questioning, wait, what's happening here? Okay, I'm
Gotcha.
understanding it very differently with this timeline stuff than what I originally thought.
Okay, well,
Weird.
I'm off next week, so I'm gonna put some serious time into this game next week. I'm gonna keep playing this week, obviously, but next week, pretty much every day, I'm gonna be playing a lot. So yeah, looking to make some going. And I think I may, unless something goes totally wrong, I think I may pick up Dragon's Dogma 2 on Friday, and I'm pretty pumped for that. It looks really good. So
Yeah, definitely not going to pick it up console, but I wish they would, instead of a character maker, I wish they would drop a demo on PC.
I know the character maker is so funny. It's like a little stupid little thing, but whatever.
But yeah, it looks really, really cool though. I'm gonna see. I mean, reviews would be out at this point, right? It's like 3 days away. Are they?
So I saw something that said today was going to be the embargo, but that was wrong. Now I'm hearing tomorrow possibly, but I don't know for sure. There's no official thing. But if we do the Steam Family Library thing, then I won't be playing Dragon's Dogma all the time because I'm still playing Final Fantasy.
I mean,
so
same
I'm sure
here. I'm definitely, obviously, trying to play like one of my favorite games of all time. But
Sure.
so yeah, okay. I guess tomorrow. I mean, by the time this episode will be out, we'll I guess have an answer. But I'm really like, it super depends on reviews for me. It really depends more than just like obviously critics' opinions, but I'm just saying, you know, a mix of everyone's opinions. I'm very curious what people think as a whole on this game, if it ends up being a big hit or not. Because I'm a little weary on it. I don't know. The fact that it can't even hit 30 on console.
What a joke, man.
Like, it makes me feel like it's not like the PC version. Anytime we've had, like, if there's console issues, there's even bigger PC issues. You know what I mean?
Dude, I just feel there
there could be big problems with this game, is my worry.
Yeah, I feel like we go through this cycle all the time. Like, the new systems come out. Oh man, every game is gonna run at least at 60 in this, and then it ends up not being the case, right? You have some games that run at 30, and you have some games that do performance mode. Then you have stuff like this that's targeting 30 FPS. Then they're gonna come out with the new systems, PS6, 8K resolution, but we still run at 30.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we shall see. But
March 22nd, Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out. Princess Peach Showtime, March 22nd as well. Rise of the Ronin, March 22nd as well. Huge game. Huge day.
I'm gonna skip that one only because it just, I don't know, looked uninteresting.
Now, people are saying that they're kind of whatever on this game. I'm seeing reviews of that.
I've heard that.
Pretty mixed. There's a article I saw, though, of something saying, first Rise of the Ronin PS5 review. Oh, Famitsu. I don't like Famitsu reviews.
They go too crazy, man.
I think they're the weirdest numbers I ever see. I always thought that. Anyway, Acolyte of the Altar.
They always do that.
PC, March 25th. Bulwark, Falconer Chronicles, all platforms but Switch, March 26th. Grandia HD Collection, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, March 26th. So that collection's out on other platforms, but they're releasing on the older systems there. That's interesting. Planet Zoo Console Edition, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, March 26th. South Park Snow Day, all platforms, March 26th. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective hits Android, March 28th. Open Roads, all platforms, March 28th. Outward, Switch, March 28th. Pepper Grinder, Switch and PC, March 28th.
There we go. Pretty big week.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm, if we talked about 2 days ago, like, I've been really high on Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of, like, what could some negatives be, and I'm thinking like, okay, I am trying to 100% each area, or I was, and then it was starting to like, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, okay.
And then so I did deviate, and but right when I chose to do that, I got sucked right back into it again anyway. And so I don't know. I it's weird. I'm still battling that, like.
Sure.
I keep thinking, I'm like, all right, this is a bit much. But then whenever I go through area and I don't do it, the whole time I'm like, man, I really want to do it. Like I keep wanting to go back to it, and then so I don't know.
I might do the same as you. I'm gonna keep doing it until I feel like okay, I'm gonna take a break. But if I don't feel that way, then I'll just keep going, I guess.
I'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna do some story stuff here, and then I see a mark like pop up, and I'm like, God dang it, and here I am doing it anyway.
Yep.
But,
I'm gonna go play it right now, so I'm looking forward to it.
but Cosmo Canyon and that moment and the ending of all of this bit, dude, it's so good. I loved it. All right,
man. See ya.